Now, let's actually go through each of these individually. Let's click on a drag and drop activity. Each of our activities, when you're taking it for the very first time, it comes up with a help. We're also planning on improving this help a lot more. And if a student doesn't know how to do it, all they have to do is hover over this little label, and it'll tell them what to do. All of our activities are also built in such a way that they are, students who are colorblind can also do these. So let me check answer. You'll see that there's either an icon with a wrong or a correct option, or there's a strike through just to help students because they cannot who are colorblind because they cannot differentiate between green and red. Now, let me go back to the skull. So these are 2D activities, and we have 35 different activity types that we support, including drag and drop, matching, highlighting. There's so many activity types that you'll encounter. Now, let's also do a 3D activity. We have 3 different 3D activity types that we support. And whatever I'm showing you today, all of these can be assignable. So this is all assessment that you're looking at. So I'm looking at the labels for each of these models. And based on that, it's I have to identify what they are and reorder it to the, so this A has to correspond to the specific bone. I can check answer. I know all of them are incorrect. I can also show answer. This is only for instructors. We want students to try as many number of times. We have other activity types. I'll show you a couple and then we'll move on. So from the 3D model, select the following: a bone that makes up the walls of the orbit. And like I mentioned, both for our quizzes and activities, especially our 3D activities, we do have wrong answer feedback. So let's do the next one. And let's say I select something else. So those are 3D activities. And let me go through some cadaver-based activities this time. And it's all organized by chapter. So you'll notice here that anything that has a 3D as a prefix or a cadaver as a prefix, that means that this is a 3D quiz, and this is a cadaver-based quiz. So let me resume activity out here. And again, this is, I can hover on the hotspot to, the label to figure out how to do this activity. Now, the cadaver activities are a little different in some cases where, let's say we have an equivalent model. You can also click on the model. So essentially, you're clicking on both just to get some relevance, right? And this says select only the following: a suture line that unites the frontal bone, parietal bone, and the squamous portion of the temporal bone, and the greater wing of the sphenoid bone. I don't know what the answer is, but I can click on each of these to figure out. And let me hope that's the answer. Yep, that is. So there are different activity types of this sort. So this is a sorting activity where, again, I can select a specific hotspot area. And I can move these to those positions. Again, it might be all incorrect. Okay, so that's a cadaver-based activity where you'll have a 3D or a 2D model along with the cadaver. to give a little more relevance to students.